Manchester United are the big story from yesterday because of that defeat, leaving them 14th. They're just 7 points clear of the relegation zone. And let's speak to the Guardian's Manchester football correspondent, Jamie Jackson, who joins us this morning. How are you doing, Jamie?
Good morning, Jamie.
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
When I say 7 points clear of the relegation zone, it's ridiculous and remarkable that we're talking about Manchester United being that club. What did you make of yesterday?
More of the same, really. They were just overrun, particularly in the first half. They were absolutely battered, bullied. Didn't really have an answer. I mean, Eriksen and Casemiro in central midfield, combined age of 64. It leaves Kobbie Mainoo on the bench, at the starting 11. Now, I've been a little bit concerned about Mainoo this season. He's not the same as he was last season. So I could sort of understand the thinking a little bit, but at the same time, Newcastle's midfield, Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Tonali, that's a proper midfield, and there's three of them in there as well, right? And in this 3-4-3 formation that Amorim is insisting on playing, you only have two central midfielders who I've just mentioned who they are, so already you're outnumbered. I don't know, I could just see it coming, and they're in the same position, United, under Amorim as they were under Ten Hag when he took over. He's got the same amount of points. We're halfway through the season. You mentioned there, Nat, that the 7 points ahead above the relegation zone, and they're sinking. They are sinking. That was the sort of top line of a match report, that they're starting to dip towards the relegation zone. And he is correct to say that this is Amorim. He's concerned about being dragged into a relegation fight. I'm just starting to wonder about this head coach. Only because I get that he's only been there 11 games and all the rest of it, but it's Manchester United, and what is the point of changing your head coach if you're sort of still in the same position 9, 10, 11 games later? So there is a concern there. He hasn't got the personnel to play this system, yet he believes, I understand the thinking, I've got to have a vision, and you can't change your vision because players will lose faith in you as the head coach. But surely part of being a head coach is having more than one vision, being able to tweak it and saying to your players when you come in, look, this is how we're going to play 3-4-3. But you know what? For the time being, because it's midway through the season, I'm going to sort of maybe tweak it and tinker with it every now and then to make sure we claim points, which is basically the question I put to him afterwards, Amorim, and he sort of, he rebuffed it, and I understand why, because he has to stick to it. But it's just, they continue to sink, then it will only go one way for him. Ratcliffe is ruthless. So Jim Ratcliffe, he's already got rid of Ashworth after 5 months as his sporting director, who, by the way, he billed as one of the best in the world in February when he hired him, and he's gone. And, if we get to sort of, I don't know, February, March, and this continues, no manager would survive. So, I like the guy. He's done very well at Sporting, but this is Manchester United, and so far, and I'm going to be polite, I think the jury's out.
Jamie, I want to ask you about Manchester United's squad of players, because I called them mediocre, most of the players, and I got a bit of a backlash from Man United fans, but that was just me speaking the truth. And I've just seen on X that financial fair play will limit Manchester United in January as well. Are these players good enough to even get into the top half of the table?
Gabby, I think you're being polite saying they're mediocre.
Yeah.
I think they're poor as a collective. They just are. The league table doesn't lie. We all know you're a top player. That's what the Premier League's about. The competition to judge a team. And yeah, they've got next, or he has got next to no money, unless somehow, and it's a big somehow, Marcus Rashford, for example, can be sold for, I don't know, 45 million, and get rid of this 365 a week wages on. Then he's got close to nothing. You're looking probably at a couple of patched up sort of loan deals that he can bring in. Just not good enough. And again, this is part of the folly possibly of hiring him mid-season, because you're bringing in a coach who's got no money to recruit players that he wants for the formation that he wants, for the squad that he wants in January. So he's having to make do with what he has. Part of it, and we're mentioning it here, is I don't quite buy the idea that players can't adapt to a different system if you're elite players. But obviously, these players are not good enough. They won a cup in the last 2 seasons under Ten Hag. I would suggest that if we get to the end of this season and they are yeah, let's say 14th. That's obviously a big plunge from last season, and with no trophy, then that's going backwards fast under Amorim. You know, I get that. Say Arteta went into Arsenal, and it was difficult for him to do a free season because he's been compared to that situation, Amorim. But it's just, I've seen so many managers come and go in the 12, 13 years I've done this job, covered Manchester United, and this is going the same way, but kind of worse. And it probably is a product of the decline over that span since Ferguson retired in May 2013. But I just, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking they are being bullied every game, in midfield particularly, which is where where you win and lose games basically. And you look at that, even with a three centre back line, they could not defend two headed goals.
Very briefly, Jamie, how concerned are you about the trip to Anfield then on Sunday?
Well, yeah, I mean, you coin it completely there. No, I mean, that's Anfield. It's a cauldron. It's, this is the biggest game in our football. United on the plunge and Liverpool on the up. I can see a hiding, to be honest.
Goodness me. Indeed, especially if they come they've come into this fresh off that 5-0 win over West Ham as well. Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, Jamie,
very much for being with us this morning to reflect upon what has been a devastating period, really, for Ruben Amorim. Not what he would have expected, I'm sure. We had Lee on, didn't we?
Yes.
We had a few issues with connection. Over? Lee, I think you're with us once more.
Hey, guys. Yeah, sorry. I think I've gone under a tunnel. Typical.
It's always the way. Go on, explain to us how it was yesterday, then, because you were there.
Yeah. So I think that the feeling straight away was that we were gonna lose. That was the feeling in the atmosphere in the stadium. He was just waiting for the first goal for Newcastle. But yeah, I was saying, I think that my concern with Amorim was that he's basically chosen Kobbie Mainoo last night to be his fifth starting midfielder. And this is a young player that we should build in the team around.
Yes.
Ugarte and Fernandes were both suspended, and he's plonked Casemiro and Eriksen in there and left Kobbie on the bench. When against that midfield three at Newcastle, Sandro Martinez has been appalling since he's come back from his injury, which, I thought he was good when he first came. He's been awful. And then you make him captain, and he needs to rediscover his form. Young Lenny Yoro has been bought in for big money. He's looked okay when he's come on and played. Just play him. He's a big lad. He can play on the ball. You've got three them big defenders in there. And that then takes out why he had to play Joshua Zirkzee in that 10 role when he said he wanted it for height. When you put Lenny Yoro in, you've got another player with height. Zirkzee can't play on that side. And to the fans that booed him, to me, that was disgusting. I mean, there was a lot of arguing, some near fisticuffs, I'd say, in the stadium with a lot of United fans who were having a go at the corporates booing, and that's what it is. And to Jim Ratcliffe, he's going to reap what he sows here, selling off tickets at Old Trafford for hundreds and hundreds of pounds that are worth 40 quid to get these corporates in who just want a win. That's all they want to see. And that's what we want to see. But to start slagging off a young player like Josh Zirkzee, when all of them could have been booed, whoever came off, and they shouldn't be booed. They play as a team. But Amorim's got a lot of work on, and what I don't want to happen, Gabs, we've all been, people have been slating Ange because he won't change. I just think Amorim's just going to have to slightly tweak it and then just go with it in the summer.
Do you think you can stay up, Lou?
Oh, yeah, definitely, mate. When I say definitely, we'll see. But I think there's three worst teams down there, Gabs, and I think we've got a hard run of fixtures here, but the confidence is low. And I don't see us bringing anyone in January, but he's going to have to just tweak something and pull something out of the bag. Now, whether that's just to bring in another couple of young players, we've got some good young academy players that get talked about, who I go and watch regularly. But it's bringing them into that lion's pit, isn't it? You don't want to demoralise them. I don't know. He's just got a big job on.
And Lee, of course, you're talking about hoping he'll tweak it. You're hoping he gets it right on Sunday at Anfield, because, as we've seen, Liverpool just seems to be getting better and better. Are you worried about Sunday?
Yeah. I was worried about last night, and worried about Sunday, and worried about Arsenal away. But sometimes these, and then, I think we've got Southampton at home. So,
That's right.
that's where those 3 points might come from for us to stay up. I'm not looking forward to it. But sometimes, like when we played away at Man City, you can get a shock result and then it might turn the confidence. But we beat Man City and we've lost 4 or 5 on a row now, so... Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah, not fun at all being a Man United fan right now. Lee, thank you. Good call. And if you want to have your say exactly like Lee, then all you have to do is give us a call on 03717 223344. That's also the WhatsApp number. And you can also text us to 81089.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.